Are you forgetting names more often than you used to? Maybe you walk into a room and can't remember why you went there in the first place, or you struggle to recall conversations you had just yesterday, and you think this is just normal aging, but let me tell you something that might shock you: what you're eating right now. Specifically, certain fruits that you probably consider healthy could be destroying your brain cells and accelerating memory loss faster than you ever imagined. And I'm not talking about junk food or processed snacks. I'm talking about fruits that are sitting in your kitchen right now that millions of seniors eat every single day thinking they're making healthy choices, when in reality, they're feeding their brain the exact ingredients that lead straight to dementia and Alzheimer's disease. My name is Dr. Rebecca Parker. I've worked as a physician for over 20 years, and today I focus specifically on senior health. And I can tell you from decades of experience that what I'm about to share with you today could be the most important information you hear all year, because your memory, your independence, your ability to recognize your own grandchildren, all of that depends on the choices you make right now in your kitchen. And I've seen too many patients over the years who come to me confused and scared, asking why. Their memory is failing when they thought they were doing everything right, and when we look at their diet, we find these same 4 dangerous fruits showing up again and again. You're not alone in this struggle. Over 6 million Americans are currently living with Alzheimer's disease, and that number is expected to nearly triple by 2050 according to the Alzheimer's Association. But here's what most people don't realize. Alzheimer's doesn't just appear overnight. It starts decades before the first symptoms show up, and it starts with the food you eat every single day and those seemingly innocent fruits that you've been told are healthy. The ones you buy at Walmart or your local grocery store thinking you're taking care of yourself. Some of them are literally poisoning your brain with every bite you take. If this is resonating with you, if you've noticed your memory isn't what it used to be, hit that like button right now, because what I'm about to reveal could save your mind and your independence. Let me explain exactly what's happening inside your brain when you eat the wrong fruits and why this matters so much more than you realize. Your brain is the most energy-demanding organ in your entire body. It uses about 20% of all the glucose and oxygen you consume, even though it only makes up about 2% of your body weight, and because your brain works so incredibly hard every single second of every day. It's also extremely vulnerable to damage from inflammation and oxidative stress, and this is where fruit comes into the picture, because not all fruit is created equal when it comes to brain health. Some fruits are packed with antioxidants and nutrients that protect your brain cells and fight off the damaging free radicals that cause cognitive decline. But other fruits, the ones I'm going to warn you about today, they do the exact opposite, and they flood your system with excessive sugar and compounds that trigger massive inflammation in your brain tissue, and over time, years and years of eating these wrong fruits, your brain cells start to die off. The connections between neurons begin to break down, plaques start forming in your brain, and that's when you start forgetting things and struggling with basic tasks that used to be second nature to you. The scariest part is that by the time you notice memory problems, significant damage has already been done to your brain, and you can't get those dead brain cells back. But you can stop the damage from getting worse, and you can actually start healing your brain if you make the right changes starting today, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do. Now let me tell you about the first dangerous fruit that you need to remove from your diet immediately, and I know this is going to surprise you because it's one of the most popular fruits in America, especially during those long winter months when fresh local fruit is hard to come by. I'm talking about canned fruit cocktail and those cups of fruit in heavy syrup that you find at every grocery store, from CVS to Walgreens to your local supermarket, and I see seniors buying these all the time thinking they're getting their daily fruit servings, when in reality, they're consuming one of the worst things possible for brain health. Here's why canned fruit in syrup is so dangerous for your memory. A single cup of fruit cocktail in heavy syrup contains up to 40 grams of added sugar, and that's more sugar than 3 glazed donuts from Dunkin'. And when you flood your bloodstream with that much sugar all at once, several devastating things happen in your brain. First, your blood sugar spikes dramatically, which triggers a massive inflammatory response throughout your entire body, including your brain. And chronic inflammation is one of the primary drivers of Alzheimer's disease, according to research published in major medical journals. And second, Those repeated blood sugar spikes damage the blood vessels in your brain, making it harder for oxygen and nutrients to reach your brain cells, and over time, this vascular damage contributes directly to cognitive decline and dementia. But there's something even more sinister happening with these canned fruits. The high sugar content actually feeds harmful bacteria in your gut and disrupts your microbiome, and scientists have discovered that your gut health is intimately connected to your brain health through what's called the gut-brain axis. So when you damage your gut with excessive sugar, you're also damaging your brain and your memory, and many of these canned fruits also contain preservatives and additives that your body doesn't recognize and can't process properly, which adds even more toxic burden to your system. I remember a patient, a 72-year-old woman named Margaret, who came to see me because her family was worried about her increasing forgetfulness, and she was terrified of developing Alzheimer's like her mother had. And when we went through her diet in detail, I discovered she was eating 2 cups of canned peaches and heavy syrup every single day because her doctor had told her to eat more fruit, and she thought she was doing the right thing. Within 3 months of eliminating those canned fruits and replacing them with fresh alternatives, Margaret reported that her mental fog had lifted significantly, and her daughter confirmed that she seemed sharper and more present during conversations. The second dangerous fruit I need to warn you about is dried fruit, especially the sweetened varieties like dried cranberries, dried mango, candied pineapple, and yogurt-covered raisins that seem like healthy snacks, but are actually memory destroyers disguised as health food. And I know this is going to be controversial because so many seniors love keeping dried fruit around for convenient snacking, and it seems so much better than candy or chips. But the truth is that dried fruit, especially the sweetened kinds, can be just as harmful to your brain as eating pure sugar. Here's what happens during the drying process that makes this fruit so dangerous. When fruit is dried, all the water is removed, which concentrates the natural sugars into a much smaller volume. So you end up consuming far more sugar per bite than you would with fresh fruit, and then to make matters worse, manufacturers often add even more sugar during processing to make the dried fruit taste better and prevent it from sticking together. And the result is that a handful of dried cranberries can contain as much sugar as a candy bar, but because it comes from fruit, people think it's healthy and eat it without any guilt or concern. Let me give you a specific example so you understand just how concentrated these sugars are. A cup of fresh grapes contains about 15 grams of natural sugar, but a cup of raisins, which are just dried grapes, contains a whopping 115 grams of sugar because you're fitting so many more grapes into that same cup once all the water has been removed, and your body and your brain can't tell the difference between sugar from raisins and sugar from a candy bar. It all triggers the same inflammatory response and the same damage to your brain cells and memory. There's also another problem with dried fruit that most people don't know about. Many commercially dried fruits are treated with sulfur dioxide to preserve their color and extend their shelf life. And sulfur dioxide can cause oxidative stress in your body, which directly damages your brain tissue and accelerates cognitive decline. And some people are particularly sensitive to sulfites and experience brain fog and confusion immediately after eating dried fruit treated with these preservatives. The third dangerous fruit that's destroying memory in seniors across America is fruit juice. And yes, I know juice seems like it should be healthy because it comes from fruit, but drinking fruit juice is one of the worst things you can do for your brain health, and I see this all the time in my practice. Seniors who start their day with a big glass of orange juice thinking they're getting vitamin C and doing something good for their bodies, when in reality they're setting themselves up for cognitive decline and memory problems. Here's why fruit juice is so problematic for your brain. When you juice a fruit, you remove all the fiber, which is the part that slows down sugar absorption and keeps your blood sugar stable. So what you're left with is basically sugar water with some vitamins, and when you drink that juice, all that sugar hits your bloodstream at once, causing a massive spike in blood sugar and insulin. And we already talked about how those sugar spikes trigger brain inflammation, but with juice it's even worse because you're consuming the sugar from multiple fruits all at once, and most people drink juice much faster than they would eat whole fruit, which means even more rapid absorption and more dramatic blood sugar swings. A single 12-ounce glass of orange juice contains about 36 grams of sugar, which is roughly the same as a can of Coca-Cola, and think about that for a moment. You would never pour your elderly mother a can of soda for breakfast and tell her it's healthy. But that's essentially what you're doing when you give her orange juice, and the same goes for apple juice, grape juice, cranberry juice cocktail, and all those other fruit juices that fill entire aisles at grocery stores across America. And even the ones labeled as 100% juice with no added sugar are still problematic because they're concentrated fruit sugar without any of the protective fiber. There's compelling research showing that regular fruit juice consumption is associated with increased risk of type 2 diabetes, and diabetes is itself a major risk factor for Alzheimer's disease. In fact, some researchers now call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes because of the strong connection between blood sugar problems and brain degeneration. And when you drink fruit juice regularly, you're training your body to have poor blood sugar control, which damages your brain over time and steals your memories and your mental sharpness. The fourth and final dangerous fruit I need to warn you about might surprise you because it's actually a whole fruit, not a processed version, but it's still incredibly harmful for brain health, especially for seniors, and I'm talking about very ripe bananas. The kind with brown spots all over the peel that many people actually prefer because they're sweeter and easier to chew. The problem is that as bananas ripen, their starch converts into simple sugars, and a very ripe banana can contain more than double the sugar of a firm yellow banana, and that extra sugar comes with all the same problems we've been discussing: blood sugar spikes, inflammation, insulin resistance, and accelerated brain aging. Now I want to be clear here. I'm not saying all bananas are bad. A firm yellow banana with just a touch of green can actually be part of a healthy diet because it contains resistant starch that feeds good gut bacteria, and the sugar content is much lower. But those overripe bananas with brown spots that seniors often eat because they're softer and sweeter, those are basically candy disguised as health food, and they're contributing to the memory problems and cognitive decline that so many Americans are experiencing. Write in the comments right now, have you been eating any of these 4 dangerous fruits? Maybe you've been having canned peaches every morning or drinking orange juice thinking you were doing something healthy. Share your experience below because your story could help other seniors avoid these same mistakes. But here's the good news, and this is where everything changes, because just as there are fruits that destroy your memory, there are also powerful fruits that protect your brain, shield you from Alzheimer's, and can actually improve your cognitive function even if you're already experiencing memory problems. And these protective fruits work in completely different ways than the dangerous ones. Instead of spiking your blood sugar and causing inflammation, they stabilize your blood sugar, reduce inflammation, provide powerful antioxidants that protect your brain cells, and supply essential nutrients that your brain desperately needs to function properly. The first brain-protecting fruit I want you to start eating immediately is blueberries, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that blueberries might be the single most important food you can eat for memory protection and Alzheimer's prevention. Blueberries are absolutely packed with compounds called anthocyanins, which are powerful antioxidants that cross the blood-brain barrier and directly protect your brain cells from oxidative damage and inflammation, and study after study has shown that seniors who eat blueberries regularly have better memory, faster processing speed, and lower rates of cognitive decline compared to those who don't eat berries. Let me tell you exactly what's happening in your brain when you eat blueberries, because this is fascinating. Those anthocyanins that give blueberries their deep blue color, they actually accumulate in the areas of your brain responsible for memory and learning, particularly the hippocampus, which is the first area to show damage in Alzheimer's disease. And once there, these compounds reduce inflammation, improve communication between brain cells, and even stimulate the growth of new neurons, which scientists call neurogenesis. And for a long time, we thought the brain couldn't grow new cells after childhood, but now we know that's not true, and blueberries are one of the most powerful foods for promoting this new brain cell growth. There was a landmark study done at the University of Cincinnati where researchers gave older adults with early memory problems either blueberry juice or a placebo every day for 12 weeks, and at the end of the study, the group drinking blueberry juice showed significant improvements in memory tests and learning ability compared to the placebo group, and brain imaging showed increased activity in the memory centers of their brains. And this wasn't a small effect. These were real, measurable Improvements in cognitive function just from adding blueberries to their daily routine. Now I know fresh blueberries can be expensive, especially during the winter months when they're out of season, but here's the great news. Frozen blueberries are just as good and sometimes even better because they're frozen right after harvest when their antioxidant levels are at their peak, and you can find affordable bags of frozen blueberries at any grocery store from Walmart to your local supermarket, and they're available year-round regardless of the season. I recommend eating at least half a cup of blueberries every single day, and you can add them to oatmeal, blend them into smoothies, eat them plain as a snack, or mix them with yogurt. The second brain-protecting fruit that should be in your kitchen right now is strawberries. And while strawberries don't get quite as much attention as blueberries for brain health, they're actually just as powerful and in some ways even more beneficial. Strawberries are rich in a different type of antioxidant called fisetin, which has been shown in research to reduce the formation of those toxic protein tangles in the brain that are the hallmark of Alzheimer's disease, and strawberries also contain high levels of vitamin C, which is crucial for protecting your brain from oxidative stress and supporting the production of neurotransmitters that your brain needs for memory and mood. What I love about strawberries for seniors is that they're easy to eat, widely available, affordable, and most people actually enjoy them, unlike some healthy foods that you have to force yourself to eat, and just like blueberries. Frozen strawberries are an excellent option and maintain their nutritional value, and you can often find them on sale at stores like CVS or Walgreens in addition to regular grocery stores. Research from Harvard Medical School following over 16,000 women found that those who ate strawberries and blueberries regularly showed slower rates of cognitive decline. In some cases, their memory loss was delayed by up to 2.5 years compared to women who rarely ate berries, and imagine what that means: 2.5 extra years of sharp memory, independence, and quality time with your family just from eating berries. Here's a simple protocol I give to all my patients who want to protect their memory, and I call it the Berry Brain Protocol, and it's incredibly easy to follow. Every single morning, start your day with what I call a Brain Boost Berry Bowl, and here's exactly how to make it. Ingredients: half a cup of fresh or frozen blueberries, half a cup of fresh or frozen strawberries, 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt or regular yogurt if you prefer, 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed or chia seeds, and optional, a small handful of walnuts and a drizzle of raw honey if you need a touch of sweetness. Preparation: if you're using frozen berries, let them thaw for about 10 minutes or microwave them for 30 seconds until they're just slightly soft. Then in a bowl, combine your yogurt with the berries. Sprinkle the ground flaxseed or chia seeds on top. Add the walnuts if you're using them, and drizzle just a tiny bit of honey if needed, but remember, we want to minimize added sugars. How to use: eat this berry bowl first thing in the morning before anything else, and the combination of protein from the yogurt, healthy fats from the seeds and nuts, and powerful antioxidants from the berries will stabilize your blood sugar, reduce inflammation throughout your body, including your brain, and provide steady energy without any crashes or brain fog. And if you want, you can prepare several portions at once on Sunday evening and keep them in the refrigerator so you have a quick, healthy breakfast ready to go every morning of the week. Many of my patients tell me that within just 2 weeks of starting this Berry Brain Protocol, they notice they're thinking more clearly, remembering things better, and feeling more mentally sharp throughout the day, and I've seen remarkable transformations in seniors who commit to this simple daily practice. If this information is opening your eyes to the connection between fruit and brain health, go ahead and hit that like button, because we're just getting to the most powerful fruits of all. The third brain-protecting fruit that I want you to know about is avocado. And yes, avocado is technically a fruit, even though most people think of it as a vegetable. And it's absolutely one of the best foods you can eat for memory protection and cognitive function. Avocados are unique because they're packed with healthy monounsaturated fats, which are the exact type of fats your brain needs to build and maintain healthy cell membranes, and your brain is actually about 60% fat. So giving it high-quality fats is essential for proper function and memory. The healthy fats in avocados also help your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin E, which is a powerful antioxidant that protects your brain from oxidative damage, and studies have shown that people with higher levels of vitamin E have Slower rates of cognitive decline and lower risk of Alzheimer's disease, and avocados are one of the richest food sources of vitamin E that you can find. Plus, they contain folate and vitamin K, which support brain health in different ways by reducing inflammation and protecting blood vessels in your brain. Here's something else remarkable about avocados that most people don't know. They contain more potassium than bananas, and potassium is crucial for maintaining proper electrical signaling in your brain cells. And when your potassium levels are optimal, your neurons can communicate more efficiently, which means better memory, faster thinking, and improved concentration. And avocados also help regulate blood sugar levels because their healthy fats and fibers slow down digestion and prevent those dangerous blood sugar spikes that we talked about earlier that damage your brain. I recommend eating half an avocado every day, and you can add it to salads. Spread it on whole grain toast. Blend it into smoothies for creaminess. Or simply eat it with a spoon with a little salt and pepper. And avocados are widely available year-round at every grocery store across America, and while they might seem expensive, when you consider that you're only eating half at a time and you're preventing thousands of dollars in future medical costs from dementia and cognitive decline, they're actually one of the best investments you can make in your health. The fourth and final brain-protecting fruit that completes your Alzheimer's prevention arsenal is pomegranate, and this is a fruit that doesn't get nearly enough attention for its incredible brain-protecting properties, but the research is absolutely compelling. Pomegranates contain unique compounds called phenocalagens, which are extremely powerful antioxidants that reduce inflammation throughout your entire body, but especially in your brain and cardiovascular system. And since your brain depends on healthy blood flow to function properly, protecting your blood vessels with pomegranate compounds directly translates to better memory and cognitive function. Research has shown that pomegranate juice can improve memory performance in older adults with age-related memory complaints, and in one study, participants who drank pomegranate juice daily for 4 weeks showed significant improvements on memory tests compared to those who drank a placebo, and brain imaging revealed increased activity in brain regions associated with learning and memory. The compounds in pomegranates also help prevent the buildup of amyloid plaques in the brain, which are the toxic protein deposits that characterize Alzheimer's disease, and animal studies have shown that pomegranate extract can actually reduce these plaques and improve cognitive function.